On a sultry September evening, the camera slowly flies over a quiet suburb of Rochester, New York, where the streets are so symmetrical that they seem drawn with a ruler. The houses have white picket fences, manicured gardens, and American flags hanging as a kind of reminder of what the order was supposed to mean. But behind one of those perfectly aligned doors, something quietly festered. It wasn't a body, nor a crime. It was an emotional lie that had been quietly brewing for years. At number 281, a 29-year-old woman stared blankly at the kitchen window. The cup of coffee cooled in his hand, while his eyes scanned the empty yard, as if waiting for something to appear out of nowhere. His name was Emma, but the virtual world knew her by other names, each one carefully constructed with filters, catchphrases, and calculated poses. On the outside, she was an emotional well-being influencer. Inside, it was just another person trying not to fall apart. On his cell phone screen, hundreds of red hearts rose like bubbles in response to his latest post. To love is to liberate, not to imprison. But what no one knew was that the night before, she had cried on the bathroom floor after not receiving a text response from someone who didn't even care. The house lights flickered as she walked down the hall, as if the place breathed her emotional turmoil. Emma wasn't in love. I was addicted to the idea of being desired. I had learned from an early age that being loved meant being chosen, and being chosen meant being important. The problem is that this cycle never left her alone. Whenever someone walked away, she didn't cry for the lost love, but for the version of herself that ceased to exist without the other's validation. His first love had been like that. He was 16 years old. His hair was dyed dark blue, and he had a way of laughing that made it seem like the world was less heavy. They didn't last more than a summer. But what was marked was not the end. It was emptiness. A hole she spent the next few years trying to fill with anyone who looked at her for more than 3 seconds. She fell in love quickly. He gave in easily. But with each new beginning, insecurity always came like a hungry ghost, haunting every gesture, every message viewed without response. The camera cuts to a therapy office, years later. A neutral environment, beige walls, artificial plant in the corner. Emma sat there every Wednesday, saying beautiful words about self-care, but always avoiding the word necessity, because admitting you needed someone was admitting you were vulnerable. And vulnerability for her was the opposite of control. The therapist took notes, observed, but she spoke like someone rehearsing. I wasn't looking for a cure. I was looking for coherence. I wanted to seem emotionally evolved, when in reality, I just wanted to seem enough. Meanwhile, their current relationship, if that was its name, unfolded in silent intervals between notifications and empty meetings. A man called Brent, with a distant look and fragmented attention, served as a mirror for his lack. He didn't love her, but I looked for her sometimes. That was enough. Because when he disappeared, Emma imploded inside. And when he reappeared, even with half a sentence, she breathed a sigh of relief, as if I had gained permission to exist again. That was the addiction, not in the love itself, but in the dopamine of the attention received. Each message answered was a prize. Each touch, a reminder that she was still valid. But it was a false currency, always losing value, always needing more to feel less. Scenes from the past appear in flashes. Emma, a child, watching her parents argue at dinner as she grips her fork tightly, trying not to cry. Nobody saw her. Nobody asked if everything was okay. So she learned early on to do whatever it took to be noticed. Good grades, ready smiles. Pleasing was the surest way to be remembered. And loving in your head became just an extension of that. Pleasing others to be important. Donate everything to receive crumbs. Back in the present, in her dark room, the cell phone illuminated Emma's face. She was going through old messages from Brent, analyzing commas, trying to understand where she went wrong, as if the lack of response was her fault. as if there was something wrong with simply feeling too much. But there, at the bottom of the screen, was an echo. She didn't want Brent. I wanted what he represented. I wanted the role of the desired woman. She wanted the fantasy of being in a relationship that proved, to herself and the world, that she was worthy of love. The camera zooms in on her expression as she begins typing a new message. Hands shake slightly. It's dawn. Outside, the wind blows against the windows like a warning, but she ignores it. He writes, "Hi, is everything okay?" and turns it off. Then write again, "I missed you," and turns it off again. In the end, it sends nothing. Lock your cell phone, sigh, and stay silent. That night, Emma didn't cry. But he didn't sleep either. He stared at the ceiling, as if waiting for a divine sign that he was on the right path. The truth, however, is that she didn't even know which way was. She was lost within herself, in a labyrinth where every feeling was confused with despair and every absence was interpreted as proof of worthlessness. At dawn, she got up, placed the camera on the tripod, prepared the scene with soft light, and recorded a video saying, "Sometimes self-love is knowing how to walk away from those who don't know how to stay." The video went viral in less than 24 hours. Thousands of comments, shares, supporting phrases. But while everyone believed she was over it, the truth is, she hadn't started yet. Because Emma didn't just want love. I wanted to be seen, be validated, to be living proof that, despite everything, I was worthy. But what she didn't realize was that as long as she searched outside for what was missing inside, the void would never be filled. Love wasn't proving anything. Love wasn't about fitting in. Love was simply existing with the other, without fear of disappearing. At the end of the day, with her eyes tired and her soul even more tired, she lay down alone. No new messages, no notification from Brent, just the muffled sound of the world outside, indifferent to your anxieties. And it was there, amidst the solitude and silence, that a small truth began to germinate. Perhaps she had never truly loved. Maybe all these years, she was just trying to feel valid. The camera slowly moves up, showing the house from the outside. A house like so many others, hiding private universes of pain, desire, and confusion. The lights go out one by one, until only the darkness of Emma's room remains. And then, the final sentence echoes in the viewer's mind like a gentle stab. You think you love it, but you're just trying to feel valid. And that will never be real love. Now it's your turn. Have you felt this too? Comment. Share. Someone might need to read it.